Tonight's MVP partner up to this point here into the fourth quarter is Reagan Bass, 16 points, 7-11 from the floor. Has been a big jolt to this Boilermaker offense.
Yeah, when she's on the floor and the offense is running through her, is a little bit of contact there, and it will stay the way of Maine. But when she's on the floor and the offense is running through her, Purdue has looked their best. And when she's been getting inside, she's been playing physical, she's been finishing some tough shots, and it's really been helping spark this Purdue offense.
So this game tonight has been a back-and-forth affair. The Boilers were up in the first quarter. Maine came back and took the lead into halftime. Purdue came out of the locker room on fire, and they took the lead into the fourth quarter as they lead by 8. Maine coming out strong. A finish at the basket by Caroline Dotsey and the foul.
Yeah, tough finish by Dotsey, and you could see most of the Maine players were pointing to Dotsey, saying get it to her, as she ended up switching into a mismatch with Destiny Lombard, who is much smaller than she is, and she ended up committing the foul and giving up the bucket.
Dotsey able to finish on the three-point play, 50-45 now. Dotsey with 11 points, 4 of 11 shooting, 2 for 7 from 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line. Maine still in their zone defense to Swanson. Not able to connect is Swanson. Off the hands of Amaya Reynolds, and it is Maine ball.
Yeah, and Swanson just hasn't been seeing it like she normally does, just 1 of 3 from 3. And obviously she struggled in that game versus South Carolina as well, so maybe a little bit of jitters after that one.
Do you think it's the frequency of playing time? Because Swanson came out, hit her first couple of shots and then kind of went cold after that. Do you think it's the rotation or not getting into the groove and staying in the groove?
It could be, and certainly coming off of a, poor performance and just kind of a game where it wasn't going down for you to get your playing time cut a little bit. It's definitely hurt your confidence, and when you see one go down, obviously you want to see more, as that's a really nice off-ball play there from Purdue to get Destiny Lombard the double-double. Now up to 10 points, but yeah, I mean, for Sophie Swanson, it's kind of a tough game last game and tough game this game, but she'll bounce out of it eventually.
52-45 after that layup from Lombard. As Maine looks to go into the post, Swanson playing some really good defense and draws the 3-second call. So Swanson, we talked about struggling offensively here this evening, coming in and making up for that, playing defensively and getting the turnover for the Boilers.
Yeah, it's tough for Borman there, as she kind of put herself in the spin cycle, and it's always tough when you do that. And 3-second close guarded rule there and turnover. Unfortunately, on one of those turns, you just kind of force the shot up or find a pass, unfortunately for her.
11th turnover of the night for Maine, as Collier fires from downtown, missing off the front iron, and Maine outrunning now with some numbers. Bloemfeld turns the ball over off the hands of Dotsey. And then the foul called on Gallego.
Yeah, it's just more silly turnovers there for Maine, as that one just kind of popped out of the hands of Dotsey.
Reynolds got the ball in quickly and now driving to the hoop. Reynolds going all the way down. Great defense there by Dotsey, as she was able to get a hand on the ball.
Yeah, Purdue's been trying to play much more downhill this half, and it's been working very well.
Puryear calling for the ball. Puryear, strong finish at the cup.
Good move there, just getting low and staying strong and finishing with the right hand. Good move from Kendall Puryear.
After those 2 quick fouls, the freshman coming in here and powering it up to the hoop. Also playing defense on Caroline Dotsey on the roll. Dotsey going reverse and finishes Caroline Dotsey. Swanson thought about it, decides to keep going to Puryear, but not so fast, friend, as 3 seconds is called.
Yeah, that's one of those that I don't think she saw Amaya Reynolds out of her peripheral, but she was standing in the corner completely unguarded. I'm sure if you look back at the tape, you would say, I probably need to give it to Amaya there.
And we've seen both teams get caught too far down and not be able to get out of it. And kick out, 3 up, no good. As Bass tries to handle that rebound. Puryear there to help her, and then the handoff to Reynolds.
Yeah, and that lid on the cup that was there in the first quarter for Maine is there now.
Swanson with the double pump, can't put it down. Olivia Rockwood with the rebound. Back to Rockwood. Rockwood picks up her dribble. Back to Gallego. Out to Blomfeld. And the foul's going to be called on Kendall Puryear, her 3rd. Destiny Lombard's going to come in as substitute for Sophie Swanson. Six minutes to go here. Purdue has 2 fouls this half, or this quarter, while Maine has 1. Puryear and Blomfeld both with 3 fouls, respectively. Rebound at the hoop, out, up for 3 and missed by Bornman. A wide open 3, wasn't able to put it down.
And that's tough because Bornman is probably the one girl on the team that you don't really want to see on the perimeter wide open because she's just not a very good 3-point shooter. Even with the wide open look, can't get it to fall.
Bornman struggling this evening from 3, 1 for 6. Lombard went everywhere but down. But a rebound from Bass, and she's fouled off the rebound in the putback.
Got good offensive rebound there from Bass, and she'll go to the line and shoot too.
Purdue with 33 rebounds this evening, 26 defensively, 7 on the offensive end as we take another look at that. As Bass able to cash in on the first one.
Yeah, Bass currently sitting at 17.6 rebounds, an assist and a block to her name, making 18 points. She's had a fantastic game, especially in this second half.
Bass has scored 20 points twice this season. Katie Gerald's and company hoping it's 3 times, and a victory is picked up as well here this evening. 56-47 coming up on 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter here of this matchup. Another turnover for the Bears. Grabbed by who else but Reagan Bass.
Another miscommunication in the passing lane there as they were expecting Dotsie for a stop and pop, and she ended up rolling to the bucket trying to draw a pull pass, but not there. Another foul on Puryear.
Yeah, they're going to get Puryear down in the post, being a tad bit too physical. So after the foul called against the Purdue Boilermakers, we take our under 5-minute timeout. 56-47 here in West Lafayette. We'll be back in 60 seconds here on Big Ten Plus. Purdue Boilermakers lead by 9 here with under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter as we take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Purdue Boilermakers as Big Ten play kicks off this weekend. And man, the schedule doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, I mean, a tough way to start Big Ten play with number 7 Maryland coming to Mackey, and then to take on number 14 Kentucky, and just a tough schedule for Purdue to start this season. But it's good experience. It's good practical play, and you kind of figure out where you're sitting with all the ranked games that you play.
After another turnover there from the Bears, you can catch those games for the Boilermakers on Big Ten Plus and Big Ten Network, respectively. Boilermakers look to finish off this one here this evening. That one is in and out for Lombard. The Bears are running. Coming up on 4 minutes to go. Bears need to wake up here offensively. Not able to finish there at the cup is Bornman. The rebound for the Boilers. They look to extend their lead.
Yeah, Bornman's taken a lot of shots this game, just 4 makes from 13 shots. 1 of 6 from deep, just not her best game.
No, and as that one goes out of bounds, we'll stay down here with the Purdue Boilermakers, and J.C. Christopher comes in, subbing in for Sarah Talon, and that's something that Maine will have to think about here. Again, the game's not over with yet, but something we'll have to think about moving forward is, man, they really had Purdue on the ropes there at the end of the second quarter going into halftime, and they came out a little flat as the Maine Bears did, but Purdue came out awakened. I can only imagine what was said in the locker room at halftime. Yeah,
and for Maine, obviously the game is not over, but theoretically at some point, probably have to just look at this game and say, hey, there are some positives, but there are definitely some negatives. But that's the thing, like I said earlier in this broadcast, it's when you're shooting this many threes per game, I mean, they're averaging over 26 threes a game. A good finish in there from Bornman, but they've shot 29 this game to this point. They're probably going to shoot 3 or 4 or 5 more by the time this game ends. I mean, you need to, go with the ebbs and flows. Sometimes you're going to shoot 28%. Sometimes you're going to shoot 45. And those games when you shoot 45 are going to be really fun. But either where you shoot 28 like this are not going to be great.
Well, and partner Bornman just ended a 3-minute and 32-second drought for the Bears. Also, 6 turnovers in the last 4 minutes for Maine as well. So a lot needing to go right here as Maine needs to turn the page, but some stealthy defense from the Purdue Boilermakers, and Lombard all the way to the rack and finishing.
That was a pretty incredible save from Collier on the sideline, and getting the props from Coach Gerald's there as a timeout is called by Purdue. But man, good play there from Collier to keep it alive, and then Lombard just driving down one-on-one with Bornman. Too easy for Destiny Lombard. He's had a fantastic game at this point.
So after the timeout, we step away. Purdue up by 9 with 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the fourth quarter here on Big Ten Plus. Destiny Lombard having herself a night here for the Purdue Boilermakers. 12 points, 12 rebounds, and right here, 1 of 3 steals. She takes this one coast to coast and finishes at the hoop.
Yeah, and massive assist there for Ella Collier, throwing her body on the line just to keep that one in. But yeah, Destiny Lombard having a heck of a game. 12 points, 12 rebounds. There's a couple Boilers into double digits. Collier's in double digits. She's got 11 points, 3 rebounds, and she's been laying it up on the defensive end too. 2 blocks and some help on that steal for Lombard.
The thing that blows me away is the 12 rebounds. 5'9" and double-digit rebounds, make it 13 as Lombard gets another one under the basket.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Maine has kind of struggled with all season was the rebounding. I mean, they are really down there in the ratings for the NCAA. They're in the bottom 20 in terms of rebounds per game, and the rebounding margin is not good either. And that's kind of another story of this game. Purdue's at 35, Maine's at 27. They've got to do a much better job on the rebounding front if they want to compete with these teams like Purdue. But obviously some things to figure out before America East play starts for them. But right now, I mean, there are some positives to take from this game for sure for Maine.
Second foul call of the night on Carolyn Bornman. Ball stay down with the Boilers. So they lead by 9. Coming up on a minute and a half to go here in the fourth quarter. Purdue trying to finish this one off, get back on the winning track here. Finishing at the hoop is Reagan Bass. That layup will send her into, that layup will be her 20th point of the game, the 3rd time this season that Bass has gone over 20.
Yeah, and Bass, I mean, she did struggle against South Carolina. She only had 2 points and 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers. She only played 19 minutes against South Carolina, but this game has been a really good rebound for her and obviously huge confidence booster going into Big Ten play.
Lombard would like to have that one back as that one had a little bit too much on it. Another turnover for the Boilers and then a foul called. 51.7 seconds to go. Purdue leads by 11. Maine will get the ball after the foul call. Talked about Purdue a little bit earlier, but upcoming for Maine, St. Joseph's, Bates College, Coppin State, and don't hate me, Purdue faithful out there, but FDU for the Bears as they end up 2024 before they get into conference play and getting a 20-25 up and under at the basket. Foul is called on Bass. Caroline Bornman will head to the line for a couple.
Yeah, right now, just looking at the quarter breakdown by points. 8 points in the first, 7 points in the third. Right now, they've only had 7 points in the fourth. They had 27 in the second. I mean, if that's not the story of the game for Maine, then I'm not really sure what is. They just caught fire in that second quarter and just could not figure it out after that.
Well, we talked about it in the first quarter. They were shooting 0 for. They get their first basket for almost 6 minutes. At halftime, they were shooting 40% from the field, over 40% from three-point land. Those numbers have dipped back down, 26 from three-point land and 35% from the field. So as you said, after that second quarter, the shooting dried up, if you will, for Maine.
Yeah, and you know, these splits, they're not normal. I mean, this is not going to be the normal Maine game or the normal game in the America East this year for Maine. You know, there are going to be games where sometimes you just struggle and sometimes you just don't shoot well, and this was one of those games. With the point disparities in the quarters, Maine should be pretty pleased that this game is still within 9 points.
So we come up under 10 seconds to go, a couple of second difference between the shot clock, because that's not going to matter now on the turnover there. Rashunda Jones chases that one down, 2.1 seconds remaining, and Purdue will get their 5th victory of the season. They'll head to 5-3 on the year. After dropping 2 over the weekend, they get the victory here. 60-51 is the official final here in West Lafayette as the two coaches meet there at half court.
Yeah, I mean, things to take from this game for both teams. I mean, Purdue obviously cannot let teams score almost 30 points in the quarter against them, and but they started to lock it down a little bit more. They started to figure out the Maine offense a little bit and started to disrupt it. And honestly, they figured out the zone defense. The 1-2-2 was really working for Maine in the first quarter, but then they were able to figure it out in that second half specifically and really get down to it. For Maine, unfortunately, you just got to shoot better eventually, and it just wasn't working today. There was a lid on the bucket in the first and fourth quarters for Maine, and they just couldn't pull it out.
As we take a look here at the game highlights, very, very Purdue Boilermaker heavy, as Purdue came out shooting very well in the second half, enough to get back into the driver's seat and finish this one off and ride to their 5th victory of this season on some solid shooting from Reagan Bass and some great defense and rebounding from Destiny Lombard. And the Boilers will take this victory into the weekend to open up Big Ten play. As the Boilers finishing it off here tonight, singing Hail Purdue. Max, you got anything here as we wrap up here in West Lafayette?
Purdue obviously starting Big Ten play on Saturday here on Big Ten Plus. You can always tune in, and it's going to be a good game here in Mackey against Maryland, a very, very capable team. But obviously, decent win for Purdue. Got to take some lessons from this going into the Big Ten. But right now, you know who your players are.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us here this evening. I want to thank our Big Ten Plus crew, our producer, and our director. I'm Craig Combs. He's Max Burry. We say goodbye from West Lafayette. And remember, don't just have a good day. Have a big day.